Walang pera. Nahinanap sa skill set niya, pero continuous ang tira niya. Not gonna lie.
This is Alicia. It's been a while.
Alicia?
But there have been quite a bit of things on my mind. Many of you have seen the, well, now viral video about me
so
choosing to reject the Cheesecake Factory because I wanted more from my date.
Imagine fucking demanding so much for first date. The fuck? Who the fuck are you? And besides, Cheesecake Factory isn't exactly that bad like McDonald's, dude. Come on. For a first date? Jesus Christ, that thing is a decent ass place. Are you insane?
I want to, well, let me say this. It's interesting to me that just how a moment in time, right, can shape how so many view you.
Pause. Is there anything worse?
She's crazy. She's crazy.
Than when someone talks slow to say fucking nothing?
I done triggered you.
I mean, if you're gonna be crazy, just hurry up with it.
Hurry with your crazy?
Yay! We ain't got time to. So, isn't it crazy the way that people can judge you
What is
based off
going
your
on with the
actions?
Oh my
Isn't
god.
that
What the hell?
crazy? I just got through one sentence. Let me finish my second one. I finished one sentence. Let me finish my second one. The Cheesecake Factory. Just like,
Hey, yo, let's move. Hurry up with your crazy.
is this going somewhere? Let's go. Let's play this shit.
It's not.
And so
Why you talk so slow, bro?
I want to talk about, I'm trying to remember, bear with me guys, I wrote down some notes so I can remember everything I want to say.
Where's your notes?
Yeah, is this you?
Where's your
prepared?
notes?
Oh my days.
Bring it.
I've seen and heard many a horror story, men and women, not just women, men and women. And I wanted to make sure
So it's not a skit, it's a real one.
that
Why does she talk
All
so
right, she's not saying
slow?
nothing, bro. I don't got time. Let's just move on to the interview.
Oh
She's
my
not
God,
saying
what the hell
nothing.
is that?
She's not saying nothing.
I'm mad.
She's not saying nothing.
Why you mad?
Because they gonna be mad. You think I'm mad? I know the viewers mad.
They mad.
They mad with me.
I was mad when I saw this too.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody needs to be mad equally.
Okay, listen, we skipping this one. Let's just go to the interview. We'll see something there.
Oh,
Because this was unwatchable.
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, you know? And so I feel like, well, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of theirs has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video,
Absolutely.
and it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And,
Maybe overachieve.
but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think in general, my values kind of.
He sounds like a way too much nice of a guy. Jesus Christ, bro. This woman disrespected you. Fucking let it go. What the hell's wrong with you, dude? Waiting for 1 hour. And this bitch is asking for and demanding for a better, expensive date for a first date. What the fuck is wrong with people? Let it go, bro.
Reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values. And I think
She's not it, girl.
in general,
She's not
a
it,
lot of
boy.
the people that
She's
I meet,
not. She's not it.
either they don't have time to
Let it go.
set
Find
towards
someone
building
else.
something like that, or they
Jesus
just
Christ.
don't want to because
I feel so
you
bad
know
for this
they're
guy.
younger, they want to
He's way
experience
too nice
you know
for this role.
casual dating or whatever it is, and it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Understood. So
Let it
obviously,
go,
guys, Jay
bro.
saying that they have a negative, viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
No, he's not a Giga Chad if he let that
Maybe he's being a
bitch
good
take
guy.
control.
So he's correcting the host's pronunciation of her name. So very nice of him, gentlemen. I certainly would have done the same. Would you?
What?
Made an effort to correct the guy on her name?
Yes, sir. I mean, I want to make sure that everybody knows your real name, so we know how much you're a piece of shit.
It's pretty
Exactly.
No. Her name's not Alicia. It's Alicia. Get the whore's name right.
Yes, get the piece of shit name right. I mean,
What the
because
fuck?
now you're out here calling someone out of their name, and it's not even their name.
Yeah.
No, direct the negative energy to the right person.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
believe in that shit
My
and the
apologies,
moves
my
and everything and
apologies.
stuff.
I
So
should've-
that's why it's really important.
That's my fault.
In the positive and the negative.
You've changed my mind. I will always pronounce people's names right. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
get that right. Okay, so Alicia, you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now, you had definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role
Bro, run.
in the conflict.
Okay.
Run away.
Let's back up a little bit. To be
Dude, you're too
fair, I mean,
nice.
I was always
Go find
raised
someone
that
else, alright?
the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me. That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me.
On the first date, you're demanding so much. What the?
Can I say it? Can I say it?
I need to do my Googles because apparently courting to me means something completely different.
Who are you? And also, who raised you? Nah, me. Yeah, you're supposed to court, but you gotta give me something to court about. If you want to be respected, you gotta be giving me something to respect. That was not what it was. In that video, there was nothing to court.
That's courting. You know, I'm looking
No.
for a provider. So, but after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of I
Okay.
in that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, great. So now I ask you this. Based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be the provider.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm a beautiful woman, so I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's
But
what I
the
was
kicker
doing.
is, how do we treat him? And that's where the
Right,
disconnect was.
right.
In the video, and of course, I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video, you basically told him that, you're not going to, your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory.
Oh.
Now, So when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside the Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So
I would
peer
never-
pressure probably keeps
I
you
would
from.
never live that. Oh my God! I would never live that down.
Wow,
I
just
mean,
hate the Cheesecake Factory. They wouldn't let you live that down.
no, I have an image to protect.
Really? Image?
Wow.
Does not do that.
Fucking
I mean, that
look
was
at
you know
you.
that was my
Even-
circle though. That's how I mean. That's how we roll.
You want
She's not even a 6. Okay, that is a subjective matter, but damn. She, man. I guess everyone's different.
people to treat you like royalty.
Who the fuck are you to?
If you want people to treat you like royalty like that, you gotta date a peasant. I'm using your analogies right there. You gotta date a peasant. But if you're dating a king, he's gonna treat you as an equal. Cause both of y'all royalty. I'm not gonna do everything. It's mutual respect. There's mutual thing that's going on. If you come an hour, you don't come down after an hour, you're not royalty. Like, I have to be a peasant. I'm dating you, that means that I'm at the peasant and I gotta upgrade nah, man. I gotta give you the respect like I am as well. And that's a no.
Now here we are, a few weeks later. I'm sure you had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you had some time to think about it. Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates.
Not yet.
Okay. So I'll start with you, Jay.
I'll listen to
Because the dude is nice. He didn't yell at her or anything. So she knows she has something. So she's going to try to do that. Yeah. And he's going to say yeah.
Well, I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well. We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after.
No, man.
She pulled up a race card. What the?
I just want to ask you, do you think that women from other cultures would lose their mind if we took them to the Cheesecake Factory? Do you think, like, everyone's getting taken to 5-star restaurants and then black women are getting taken to McDonald's? Is that really what you think is happening? Don't drag black women. This is your mess. This is yours alone. Don't be talking about, oh, I'm here to fight for women. No, boo-boo. You're here to fight for yourself. Okay? Because there's plenty of black women who go to the Cheesecake Factory and got no problem with it. So don't bring everybody else into your fucking shenanigans. Okay.
However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative,
Yeah,
right?
actually being soft,
Right,
Being
right,
receptive, being
right.
sweet,
Absolutely.
being pleasant, right? Because we do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling and the lifestyle they'll live in marriage, is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her,
Right.
And so when you were in the beginning of it, you were just saying, I'm not doing it seemed really selfish,
It
right?
was.
And I appreciate it. When I saw the video myself, that's one of the things I covered as well. I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable, right? And you were. But Jay, however, he didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's. I'm sorry, at least that's the first time I've really like put my foot down to that kind of extent. But it's not like an isolated incident. I've gone on dates
Isolated
with
incident.
several people now.
What do you
even before him,
mean?
where they had very specific things they were looking for in
What the
a boyfriend
fuck do
or
you mean
whatever.
isolated?
And even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised. Whereas with me, like my family, like we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like your
Yes.
father's and father.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself because I mean the thing is like I'm from India,
Okay.
and the partition happened where like India was separated from Pakistan,
that.
and a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together.
Wow.
And we had to. It was very important for us to stay strong after the fact. At the time, maybe we didn't care as much about like, creating this legacy, but ever since, it's like that's been one of the strongest
Bakit
parts.
naglag ako? Putang ina naman. Tang inang laro to. Okay, my dogs are pretty loud because I shout. The fuck? Hello? Are you kidding me? Trash game? Seriously? Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck was that?
our family is the importance in creating a
Chibay. Chibal game. I swear to fucking god, this game sucks. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I just lost my draft. Fuck this game, dude. Putang ina talaga. Yan ang bawas ko. No? Lag tapos puta. Tang inang basurang laro talaga. Yeesh! Wait, what? Am I supposed to use this? No wonder. Kaya parang hinang damage ko. Ayun o. Bro, naka-exit lag na ako. Bakit lag pa rin? You kidding me? Speaking of, is there a Giants? Malas ko talaga sa Giga Chat. Man. Lost my draft. Fuck this game.
legacy. And with that in mind, like I've grown up with the idea that I want a strong family here now that I'm living in America. The only kind of relationships I seek are ones where that is the only value. That is the biggest value. That is the most important thing for the other person as well as for me.
Wow. That's actually powerful. So your family going through all that they did, it caused you guys to really idealize relationships, right? And
specifically relationships that last.
Absolutely. And so here you are in America dating, and mostly in our culture, where you said earlier you were a black woman. Of course, we have been through some things, right? In our culture here in the States and throughout the whole diaspora, I like using that word. But a lot of times our culture has been stripped, and we haven't yet begun to idealize relationships. So we're more so going along with the flow. So here he is in America, and he's meeting a woman who's in America, and she sees dating the way Americans see dating, and so I can see the clash in that.
Yeah.
He's looking at you as if that's selfish. You're looking at him as if he's treating you beneath your worth, right? And actually value. So here's what I want to do, guys.
Let it go,
I want to
dude.
go back a bit.
Find
Can
someone
y'all tell me
else.
how y'all met? You tell me how you guys met?
So I was in Midtown, and like I barely even have time to go out with friends and all that. But it was a really close friend's birthday, so I went to get some drinks for the first time in ages, and I saw this beautiful woman who it seemed like every other guy in the bar was either intimidated by or too shy to talk to. And I thought, what the hell, why not? And she was, minding her own business. And I asked her, her name, Alicia, and I thought that's a beautiful name. And even despite how loud it was in the bar, we were still able to talk a little here and there. And I got her number, and she had to go. And so we kept talking after that for a little bit. And then like a week later, I asked her, you want to go out to this restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what I think most of this is about. She difficult, yes. I really just think, is she somebody who would never go into Cheesecake Factory? It depends on the guy. I think for the right guy,
Do you
she would.
even realize how superficial she is?
A homie shorter than her, she probably doesn't seem as just as attractive.
You need to put up for all that. The fact that you're short and this and that.
So mind you, she made him wait an hour. Why is she making him wait an hour? Because she don't see him as all that. Why is she being so demanding on the date in regards to going out to this fancy restaurant? Because she don't see him as all that. So she said, if you want to get with me, who is royalty,
You gonna have to work.
the way she uses all of her language, she sees him as beneath her.
Peasants.
He has to provide. I am royalty. You need to do whatever I want, whenever I want, irrespective of how disrespectful I am to your time or whatever.
Give me a third of your harvest.
She's here, and he's here.
Peasant.
Okay? And it doesn't help that for him, his demeanor, he's a little bit soft-spoken, his body language is a little bit closed in. He wasn't a pushover on the date because eventually he did leave, which is good, and he voiced his concerns, which I think is great. But the way he carries himself makes him look like that.
Peasant.
I think what it really comes down to is not only is she a difficult person, but she had a dynamic where she thought she was substantially better than the man she was with, and as a result felt like she could act like however she wanted. Came to find out, the internet came to see the video that she herself self-stitched on, and her behavior's not okay.
Well, at least we got our answer. It's not fake.
No, I didn't think it was fake. There's a particular behavior to somebody who doesn't really give a fuck about you or doesn't really care that shows himself. They're late to engagements. They don't give an explanation. They act entitled. They don't properly apologize. They don't make restitution. What's restitution? I'll give you guys an example. If I'm supposed to go on a date with a girl and I cancel, my job is to immediately afterwards offer an alternate date or an alternate time to give a proper heads up before the date to say I can't make it. Okay? Right? That's my responsibility. If I fuck up our engagement, I have to do that. If somebody cancels on you and doesn't make any effort to make alternate plans, they don't really care like that. You understand? If you text somebody and they don't respond within 24 hours, the next time they text you, they got to give you, a little extra, a little explanation to let you know, hey, even though I wasn't here for this time period for whatever reason, I understand so I'm going to do a little extra. You have to do that. If you don't, it just shows you don't really care, or you see the person as like, nah. That's what that means. So that's what this guy was to her. And from all accounts, it seems like that's the case.
That's really what it was. The queen thing and the peasant thing, that's how you broke it down. But that's what it is. She really thought of herself there. And you're going to have to work. Give me some of that. If you're not going to treat me as an equal from the jump, from the start, it's not, it's a dud.
Dude, that's demeaning as fuck, dude. She doesn't.
And I told her it would be a surprise. And maybe that might be a problem on my part. It might have raised the expectations a little bit. But I guess the surprise ended up being Cheesecake Factory, where the original surprise was.
I want to get to that. You had something else planned for her, right?
Yeah.
Because of how the evening went, the Cheesecake Factory happened, right?
Yeah.
So
that's her name.
Can I just say this?
Sure.
I love the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a place that I've gone to for like every birthday. So like it wasn't just like a random restaurant to me. It was also like a place that I've gone with my family throughout my entire life, and I love Cheesecake Factory.
So you didn't. So obviously the because you guys were late, she wasn't ready. You weren't able to take her to the restaurant that you wanted to take her to. You figured I can't go wrong with Cheesecake Factory. Right? It's my old birthday restaurant.
It's my lucky.
She'll love it.
That's the lucky spot too at the Perimeter.
Lucky spot. Okay, we'll come back to that one. I'm kidding.
No, you're not gonna look at this
Alicia.
point.
Yeah.
So Jay, you see Jay walking up to you in the bar, say Midtown. He's walking up to you. He's going to talk with you. There are other guys around you. Did you know those guys probably want to talk to you? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
So what made you say, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance? What was it about him?
Well, he was bold enough to come up and talk to me for one.
Confidence, okay.
So yes, I definitely am attracted to confidence. He just seemed like he had a pure heart. He was, very thoughtful, engaging.
Yeah, sure. Pure heart. My ass.
I mean, the only
You're an
he
asshole.
won me over.
You're
He did win me
an asshole.
over. But I'm a tall woman, and so there wasn't necessarily like that immediate attraction.
That's you!
But
That's you.
Okay, to be fair, I already watched this one.
Doesn't matter. It's still you.
Yeah, but I already watched this one. So listen, I'm psychic sometimes. This is not one of them times.
Hey, listen, Ego.
But it was in line with what I suspected.
For the amount of times that you didn't watch the video.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, just sit there. That's you.
Okay, but I did pre-watch. But yes.
But
Oh,
as
net
we began to
funny.
talk, it was really his heart that made me say, I'll give this
Oh, no.
guy a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you draw your line? Is that typically you don't date guys who are, guys have to be at least your height or taller before you would date them?
Exactly.
So see,
How superficial. Come on, I was right already. I was all. Jesus Christ. Man, this guy is whipped. He's too nice for this world. He is way too nice. Dude, I would be pissed. How dare you waste my time, basically. Like, what the fuck? She's an asshole. Leave her. She's not worth the juice, dude. Leave her. I'm telling you now. I mean, if they ever get married, for sure they're gonna get divorced. She's the one gonna be initiating the divorce for sure. Or maybe she's like gonna suck you dry. Not literally though. Like monetarily. Yeah, Jesus. Sheesh. Debauchery is Asia. The fuck is that name? That's awesome. Oh my god. Poor guy. Bad. It's a moth. I want to kill this thing, but I have an issue with bugs because this morning, like, a bug got into the LCD, like inside the LCD itself. I have to pry open the the monitor, and it took time, like almost like an hour, for me just to clean it. Yeah, I'm surprised the monitor still works though. Much cleaner than before. It's just placebo, I guess. Oh, sayang ano. I think I can. Man, I'm much more comfortable using the Mego. It's much faster with Mego. Or I'm just not exactly used to this skill string. I know.
this is the attitude of like, I gave him a chance.
Yeah,
and he gonna take me to
balls. He had the balls to talk to me.
Get chance, man. He could have won that mission at McDonald's. You would have been sucking some D in the parking lot.
Yeah, if the guy was 6'5",
Yeah.
it would have mattered.
Yeah, no.
Jack in the Box, Harvey's, fucking Wendy's,
But yeah.
Mickey D's,
But good for him.
D's nuts.
Good for him. Good for him. At the end of the day, you know, some people are just like this. I mean, just stay away from them. Anything else?
I'm walking away.
All right. Let us know what you guys think.
If you once cross my peripheral vision bug, you're gonna die.
This is gutter oil being collected. If you've visited or lived in China, you have eaten gutter oil. What you see here is a restaurant worker straining out used chili oil from a trash can.
The fuck? Why?
This is being collected to be reused for the next customer who orders spicy hot pot.
你干啥呢，哥们儿？你干啥呢？
Anything for profit.
This man is confronted and asked,
Oh my god. Gross.
你有媳妇儿有孩子，上有老下有小，
Do
Isn't
you
that
not
illegal?
have family you care about?
父母、妻女身上
This is so fucked up. Not gonna lie. I am
是不
okay.
是？
I understand it's difficult to make money these days, but how would you feel if your elderly parents, your children, and relatives ate this poison?
我的好，我也知道，就每个人生存在社会上都不容易，但是咱不能这样事儿的，好不好？
To which he replied, "You're right. I'll be on my way." Gutter oil, or digoyo, is a huge issue in China, and it's a problem that hasn't gotten better, it's actually gotten worse. Here's the thing about gutter oil, okay? For those of you who are not familiar with gutter oil, this is something that is very, very common in China. And there are a couple of types. We're going to be talking about gutter oil and spittle oil, or I suppose you could say saliva oil are the two major ones. How is it that we ever got to this point? Just trying to get some show. So gutter oil is when people take oil and sludge and grease and so on from the sewers, okay, or from grease traps outside of restaurants. Basically lift a manhole cover, dig in there, get the grease and the oil that's trapped in there, put it in buckets, take it off and sell it to a processing plant, which then goes and processes this oil into something that looks brand new. And it can be done. You know, they boil it and they strain it and they do all this stuff. And at the end of the day, they put it in a cooking oil bottle and it looks brand new as if you've bought it outside of the shop. And it's actually very difficult to tell, you know, by looking at it, if it is legit or not. And then these are actually sold to restaurants and to people to use in their homes at a much discounted price. There's a lot of money to be made. And the reason for this is, of course, is that it's free, okay? All it takes is a little bit of your time to go and dig this stuff out of the sewer and out of the manhole covers and from the gutters and so on, and then you can go and sell it, right? And then you're not even getting a lot of money. The collectors, by the way, aren't the ones making the digoyo. They just collect it and they take it to these little clandestine factories that spring up all over the place. Then they just process it and then sell it for a big profit, because think about it. You can sell it for half the cost of new oil and you're still making a lot of money. So that's the gutter oil or digoyo, which ends up in your food a lot of the time. And this is a big problem in China because it makes its way into restaurants. Doesn't matter if they're fancy restaurants or low-end restaurants, it doesn't matter, because all you need is a unscrupulous restaurant owner who wants to save a little bit of money. And there you've got cancerous, poisonous, very not good for human consumption oil being used to cook your food. And nobody will know because the effects are only long-term. So you can eat at the same restaurant for 10 years. You finally get cancer, you don't realize it came from the food from that restaurant because they're using gutter oil. And the second type of oil we're going to talk about is kolshueyo, or saliva oil, or spittle oil, or spit oil, I guess you could call it. And what this is it's very common in specifically restaurants that have some kind of a chili or a spicy hot pot dish. You know, hot pot in China is very, very popular. And that's when you get a broth or a soup and you boil it on the table and you take bits of meat and vegetables and you dip it in the boiling hot soup and it cooks the meat and then you eat it, right? So when you're finished, you don't drink the soup. What's left there, the broth, which has got chili oil, if you got the spicy one, which is very popular in places like Sichuan, for instance. You've got that chili oil sitting there on the table. The waitress takes that away to the kitchen. And then what they do very often is they just right then and there take that same chili oil or that same broth and put it into a new one to go take out to someone else's table. So they're reusing this, the same oil and broth that somebody's been, you know, sticking their spit in mouth and food and whatnot in. It's really disgusting, because there you go, sit down in the restaurant, this brand new pot comes onto your table, but it's actually secondhand. But of course, the reuse of chili oil is very common, and if you can't just quickly reuse it, some restaurants, in fact, quite a number of restaurants, if all this footage is to be believed, you'd simply go out into the trash and collect this chili oil from either their own restaurant where they've thrown stuff away, or from competing restaurants, because hey, you don't have to pay for chili oil if you can just dig it out of the trash. And it's very easy because, you know, you've got these trash cans, as you can see here, and they're just full of slop, all the leftovers that's been thrown in there from the restaurants. And because of the properties of oil, oil floats to the top, so it's very easy to just skim it off. And that's what you see these ladies doing here, is they've...
So the US has obsession with oil, like petrol. And the Chinese have an obsession with gutter oil. Two completely different oils, dude.
very easily just skim the chili oil from the top, put it in a bucket, and they could take it back into the restaurant. In fact, you can see it over here, the restaurant workers even wearing their uniforms, taking the used spit oil back into the restaurant to then be served to new customers that walk through the door. And it is disgusting. But we all know about this. I'm sure everybody is aware of the gutter oil problem in China and the spit oil problem in China. But the question is, why on earth does it still persist to this day? Because this has been a problem for as long as I can remember.
Hard.
Even in the early days when I was in China, I was hearing about spittle oil and digoyo, gutter oil. And my Chinese friends would warn me about it, and people would talk about it, and it would be in the news, and there'd be a scandal where you find out that a whole chain of very good restaurants had been using gutter oil, and people would be arrested and so on. And in fact, the Chinese government even started to put very harsh penalties in place for gutter oil. At first, lengthy prison terms if you're caught selling it, and then later even the death penalty, which actually some people have been given the death penalty for selling and producing gutter oil. But the problem is, if you look up the cases, there are actually very few people that have actually been sentenced to death. And so this is the real reason why it still persists and has gotten worse. And that is, first of all, it's easy to get away with, all right? Very few people have been punished for this, even though it is a nationwide problem. When the crackdowns happen, they do happen, but then they're over fairly quickly and things resume as usual. But the biggest reason why gutter oil is still a big problem in China is that the economy is currently suffering big time. Now, what's the biggest way to make money in a poor economy? Well, it's to take shortcuts. Because everybody that makes money through food, which, the food industry is one of the biggest in China. Think about it. You've got all these mouths to feed. You've got all these restaurants everywhere. You've got all these little mom and pop side of the roads food stalls and so on. Everywhere you go in China, there's street food and restaurants, and it's cheap to eat out in China. It's one of the things I loved about China the most is the fact that it actually worked out to be cheaper to go to a restaurant every single day for lunch and dinner than to cook at home for myself. That's just the nature of how China is. Eating out is cheap. Of course, you can go to very expensive places if you like, but if you just go to your average everyday restaurant, you actually end up saving money. So these guys that have these food stalls outside, if they're going to go buy a thing of cooking oil to cook their stuff, they don't have a lot of profit margin. Remember, when they're selling their fried dish, whatever they're making, whether it's fried noodles or rice or whatever the case, their profit margins are so small that even 1 cent savings makes a difference. So the cooking oil is the core ingredient to everything that's cooked in China. Pretty much everything is fried in oil in China. The majority of foods, of course, you do get steamed foods and a couple of other ways of cooking, but the majority of the food that you eat, the rice and the noodles and the vegetables, it's all stir-fried. It's all cooked in oil in a wok or whatever. So it's a core ingredient in cooking in China. So you have to use it, right? And if you're running a small little side-of-the-road food stall, the only way for you to actually make profit is to cut down your costs. And since that's your biggest consistent cost is the oil, go ahead and pay half or a quarter of what you would for real oil for the gutter oil. That's why it's so prolific. And then the restaurants have to turn a profit. They're not making a huge profit off of their meals. They've got waiters to pay and waitresses to pay and so on. And so if they can cut down costs on their cooking oil, which is an ingredient that's used every day, all day in the restaurant, of course they're going to do it. Now, I'm not here to try and justify it. It's an abhorrent practice. It's terrible. But I'm explaining to you why it still persists to this day in China, and specifically now, because the economy in China is suffering a lot more than you would ever realize. I've been talking to a lot of my friends in China, Just remember, I lived in China for 14 years. I've got a lot of friends, ex-colleagues, people I've known for the longest time, old students and so on. And the younger people specifically are complaining about how the economy is really hurting at the moment. And it's not something you'll get through the news. It's not something that the Chinese government will ever admit. They just want you to believe that the GDP keeps going up and up and up. But it's actually far worse than you know. A lot of places were hit hard by COVID. A lot of businesses shut down permanently because of COVID. And a lot of the restaurants that managed to survive only managed to survive by cutting costs, like skimping on ingredients, buying lower quality stuff. And you see this across the board in China. Fake booze, fake vaccines, you know, all sorts of horrible little shortcuts that lead to bad decisions that affect people's health. So that really is the reason why this gutter oil is not going to go away. And the gutter oil syndicates are more and more sophisticated than before. And if anyone tries to pretend as if it's being taken care of and that the government clamped down and it doesn't exist anymore, that's bullshit. Because not only is this footage that I'm showing you recent, but I filmed a lot of it myself. I filmed this stuff with my own eyes. Now, if me, just a single individual walking around in the streets of China and specifically living in one of the best, most prosperous, you know, biggest, brightest cities of China, Shenzhen, if I saw it on a regular basis, so much so that I've got footage that I filmed myself and something that I would be commonly just scoffing at and saying, oh, there we go, you know, gutter oil again. If I, as a single individual, could see that, just imagine how widespread it is across the country. And I mean, these clips that you see here are a bit of an indication as to how widespread it is. So much like the gutter oil is in the sewer, in the toilet, so is the Chinese economy. And this is a great indicator. I hope you learned something, everybody, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then,
welcome back, tribe. I have an episode here from Chris Williamson. Why is supporting men seen as a threat to women?
Look out at the internet today and you see this huge swell within men's work, within the manosphere, within Red Pill, you know, certain figures that are online that have just had a meteoric rise. In many ways, it's because they're speaking to the sort of cultural underpinnings of what men are experiencing. You know, we're living through one of the first times, in my opinion, in almost all of history, all of known history, where masculinity isn't getting defined by men, right? Culturally, if you look at what makes a good man and what makes a man masculine, there's sort of this battle for being able to define it. And I think it was Yuval Harari in Sapiens, maybe it was Homo Deus, where he talks about how in the future, the wars will be fought within intersubjective reality, within the reality of story, within the reality of narrative. And I think that that's where a lot of the quote unquote gender wars are happening right now. It's within the realm of story and within the realm of narrative. And so anyway, that's a little existential, but to pull it back down to reality, I think you're right. There's this very big challenge that a lot of men feel, which is they're being told specifically by a lot of women to open up, by society, by Instagram, by Facebook. It's like, open up, be more vulnerable. And then there's a bit of a mixed bag when they do it, or they don't feel like they have the proper resources to go and do it, right? They're not sure what's going to happen if they open up and say, hey man, like, listen, I'm really struggling. Like, I'm struggling to get out of bed. I freaking hate my job. I'm barely getting by. I don't know how to support myself. I'm really struggling. What should I do? Or, what have you done? And so I think that that's the inflection point that a lot of men find themselves at. And the challenge is that when we talk about some of the issues that men are going through, because statistically speaking, in a lot of ways, men are in decline, right? In decline in the workforce. They're not going to college as much. I mean, it's all stuff that you've talked about on your show before.
Lifespan, health span.
Lifespan, health span. They're living at home longer. They don't have as much money. They're not buying properties as much. They're not graduating from college. I mean, it's just like across the board. Testosterone's down. It's like, there's some big things that we as a culture and as a society should be talking about.
But we won't. And the truth is, We probably will not for generations to come. Think of it like this, man.
50
The
years,
new
dude.
block of spenders are women. Women are now catered to in politics, in culture, in business, everywhere you look. This is why we call it the gynocracy. Women are out earning men. It's true. More women are out earning men on average by a large margin, and they're more likely to be homeowners, and they're more likely to move up in companies. And because they're the new majority spenders, they have say now. They have a huge amount of influence and sway in society. Corporations, you know, if you don't believe so, look at how every movie we make now has to be through I mean, just look at the movies that are being produced, how they're heroine-centric, femme-centric movies, femme-centric storylines. It's now par for course on Hollywood. So society has done a really good job of bringing women up, but unfortunately, it's at the cost of bringing men down.
But what I've noticed is that when we want to talk about men's problems, if we want to talk about men improving themselves, everybody's for that. Thumbs up, green lit across the board. If we want to talk about the issues that men are having, that's a very different challenge. And what men are usually met with is the solution of be more vulnerable. It's like,
No
oh, you
way.
hate your life because
Love
your
that.
wife just divorced you and left you and took the kids and half of your net worth. Just be more vulnerable. Just open up and talk about it, and that'll solve it. And it's like, well, but what about the judicial system? You know, what about talking about some of the things that are actually, you know, sort of infringing and impinging on men's lives? And so I think some of these things are, you know, I think that they're coming to a head in a lot of ways.
I had a post that I put up on Twitter that I got a lot of shit for, so I'm going to say it again. Publicly trying to work out why men are struggling is largely a thankless task. This is the zero-sum view of empathy. There is an assumption that any attention paid toward men takes it away from women or some other minority group who is more deserving. After all, haven't men had it good enough for long enough? Maybe they should just suck it up for a while. But empathy does not work this way. It's not a limited resource. Recognizing the plights of men does not ignore the plights of women. And ultimately, women end up suffering in any case, as it's this increasing cohort of apathetic, checked out, and resentful men who contribute to the exact lack of eligible partners that women say they're struggling with. Women who post boo-hoo, poor patriarchy sad, whilst also complaining about where are all the good men at, are committing mating logic seppuku. If one sex loses, both sexes lose. Male blame is something else that I see a lot, and this is what triggers out who contribute to the exact lack of eligible partners that women say they're struggling with. Women who post boo-hoo, poor patriarchy sad, whilst also complaining about where are all the good men at, are committing mating logic seppuku. If one sex loses, both sexes lose. Male blame is something else that I see a lot, and this is what triggered what you just said. A common question is, why don't men just do better? Surely they can work harder in school, employment, and health. Chop, chop, men, hurry up and stop being so useless. Well, no other group is told that when they suffer with poor performance or accolades in the real world, that they should just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. We don't tell any other group to talk about their problems. Instead, we spend billions in taxpayer money and private charity to set up committees, departments, campaigns, and funds to solve the problem. In simple terms, if a woman has a problem, we ask, what can we do to fix society? If a man has a problem, we ask, what can men do to fix themselves?
You nailed it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
double standards. They'll
Yep.
exist till the end of time. We're a dimorphic species. Men and women are different. No matter how much they try to tell you that we're all the same, we're not.
They're not.
And society will
Never.
always view men and women separately in this manner. Nobody is coming to save you as a man. Nobody has empathy for your problems as a man. Only some men can have empathy for your issues. The rest sympathize on a superficial level if they're within your immediate vicinity and they benefit from your presence, i.e., like your wife. She will sympathize with you personally because it is in her best interest too. But your wife doesn't sympathize with all the other men that are struggling just the same. They can't really. It's just not in their nature. Weak men naturally, biologically need to be extinguished from society. This is hardwired in a woman's DNA to be disgusted at feminine men, to be disgusted by men who cry, to be disgusted by men who are emotional. No matter what the mainstream woke narrative tells you about, you got to be more in touch with your feelings. It will always backfire because women's natural predisposition to find emotional men disgusting. I don't make the rules. This is how we advanced as a society. The strong survive. Now, what we men have forgotten, and what some of us in this sphere are parroting, is what our forefathers were talking about: stoicism, emotional management for men only, because men have a unique take on managing emotions like aggression, anger, sadness. That's far different from the experience of a woman. Yet society is trying to make you manage those emotions the way women do. See, we're all taught under the same umbrella. You see it happening in schools today. We're taught in a gynocentric manner that's beneficial to girls, but not beneficial to boys who learn more with their hands. We need to be out there walking, exploring, feeling, touching, taking apart, putting back together. This is how boys learn the natural inquisitiveness of things, as opposed to women that could sit there and be lectured for hours on end, and talking and faces is what draws them more. It's just the natural differences. Unfortunately, we don't make this distinction anymore. So we're blending male and female together, and we're getting essentially the society you see today that's so disconnected that each gender is dealing with anxiety and depression and feeling like they don't belong and not in touch with themselves and living a false reality, a lie, because society told them to be one way. You girl queen, you go boss babe, strong independent, don't need no man, don't depend on anybody, I don't want no kid, blah, blah, blah. And that's the complete opposite of what fulfills a woman deep down inside. She wants to be part of a large tribe. She wants to have children. She wants a man to help look after her, to create a legacy, to be a homemaker, to take care and nurture. It's natural, just like a man wants to protect and provide and be respected and looked up to. But society doesn't care about any of these. It's just about how do we extract the maximum amount of profit, money out of people. Well, we got to make them lose their identity. Then we got to make them depressed and anxious. Then we got to get them angry at each other. Then we have to add all these other layers of complexities that society's adding. So all the little boxes we're constantly being put into is just further dividing us, so that the people at the top that are producing products in society today, in our capitalist structure that we've set up, that they can make a boatload of money off our, quote, misery, because only miserable people partake in this system, because it's a dopamine rush to buy something, to consume something, to watch a show, to buy a bag, to get in the expensive car. That's a cope. None of these are needs. They're just all wants. What we need is human connection. What we need is togetherness. What we need is a legacy to watch our little ones grow up around us. We need strong communities. We need to have people in neighborhoods that we're constantly mingling together and watching our kids play together with all the other kids in the neighborhood, and have barbecues and neighborhood parties, and where the people in the community run the community at a local level. That is dead, man. That almost sounds foreign to even speak about, because that's exactly what would reverse all the shit that's going on in society today. So that's the last thing that they'll allow you to talk about. Instead, here's the new iPhone, pleb. Oh, wait a second. Here's the new PC. Here's the new video game. Here's the latest adult entertainment. Oh my God, scroll through this reel. Hijack your brain, your attention, your thoughts. Consume, 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 slave. And life will pass you by, and you're going to wake up 15 years later, 20 years later, 30 years. Oh my God, I hit retirement. All I've done is scroll TikTok and Instagram my whole life and been constantly propagandized by the news and the internet, and I have nothing to show for it. All I did was buy trinkets the entire time to soothe my anxiety and cope. Never traveled the world, never experienced different cultures, different people, never made friends outside the neighborhood, never set foot out the house. And that's what they want, to keep you trapped under their thumb, constantly consuming their products. And then they got the game down locked so tight that they'll convince you that you're doing it as your choice. I play video games because I want to, not knowing that you were propagandized and drip-fed this dopamine from childhood because your parents couldn't be bothered to actually parent you, so they stuck a screen in your face to numb you from their job of parenting. So now you developed a coping mechanism where you turn to video games or adult entertainment or drugs or whatever else it is that you, quote, consume to run away or to soothe yourself from some deeper-seated issue that you don't even have time to find out what it is because you're constantly distracted. Ding, there goes the fucking phone again. Oh, couldn't even have your own original thought because ding, there goes another notification. Oh my God, an email just popped up. Oh, I just got a text message with a friend. Oh, Netflix notified me a new season is out. It's never ending. When is the last time you sat there and had a conversation with yourself about what you wanted out of life? Really? Who are you as a person? What do you want to be remembered for? What legacy would you like to build and leave humanity with? When's the last time you had this conversation? Probably never for most of you. Highly unlikely some of you have even had the last 7 days, 1 month, hell, year, just to sit down for 1 second and contemplate these questions. We're getting bombarded with shit information. It's never ending. It's all propaganda. It's all fake news. It's all scaremongering, all designed to keep you exactly where you are. A slave. Life, the most important parts of life is experiences, people, and memories. Yet we're taught by society to value the things that are most valueless, that are most worthless. Material possessions, hedonism, and feel-good chemicals now. Is it ever a wonder why we ended up where we did today? Come on, man. I don't even know if I should play the rest of this video because what more can they possibly say that we haven't already said? I mean, just breaking down society as it's breaking down itself in front of our very eyes. Well, let's just see what some of the comments say. They tell men do what's right. They tell women do what's right for you, girl. Massive lesson there. It's a bully tactic. The world needs a massive worldwide men's movement. And it's not going to happen because this is a Western issue. Men are fine everywhere else in the rest of the world. Men are appreciated and accepted. It's only in the system that we live in the West where this isn't a real problem. And yeah, we can close it out with this. Men have problems, women most affected. It is what it is. Hey, everyone. If you have a minute, please head over to legionofmen.com.
Sheesh. Baba ng TL ko 14,000. Not doing well with the woosa. Combo wise, I'm only getting how much TL? 14k. Okay, ako. Fuck off. Habang Giga Chad, makabawi man lang isang disto. Lakas ang drop rate na ano eh. Akala ko sure guaranteed yung distortion sa ano, sa Giga Chad or sa Ogre. Di pala. Bullshit. Ow. This hurts. Ayan. Yun, meron nag-spawn. Isang oras nag-spawn. Alam ko usually 30 minutes to. Giga Chad? Yes, Giga Chad.
Who I really admire a lot, like how they can like themselves, I guess. I know it seems like a weird question, but I asked them, how do you like yourself? Because I definitely had a lot of trouble with that, right? And they said, well, you need to make rules for yourself. You live in a narcissistic delusion, like a certain warden. Yeah, no, with Crony it's all an act. She might not think it is. She might be like, no, I really am perfect. I see through that. My immersion. I don't know. That's just how I perceive her. She might believe it though. She might really believe. I don't think it's real. I know narcissistic people. Oh man, they're everywhere.
Why do you have to break the immersion, bro? Come on. Come on, Callie. So many blinding lights, epilepsy. Did the devs even think this through, like at all? Like, how many people gonna be blinding lights. Feel like I'm in a rave or something. Ugh, my eyes. Someone gotta ask the devs to cut this off because this light's. My grinding. If I didn't get distortion in this Giga Chat, my grinding here is a waste of time. It's like am I even gonna kill this guy in time? Man, I couldn't even see my skills. Jesus. So blindingly light. So much blinding lights. Oh, come on. Fuck this game. I swear to God. I wanna roulette again. Just gonna finish up the weapon bonus. Sucks.
I recognize that guy. Who is he?
It's Gavin Newsom, and I'd like to see the headline that comes in here.
Okay.
I don't know where the headline is, but the
By the way,
headline, I can tell you the headline is.
Who's Gavin Newsom?
He's the governor of California.
Okay, so everyone knows California is very
it's one of the
progressive, you know.
It's one of the biggest economies in the world.
Yes, and it's all about like environmental. I remember when we lived there, it was a nightmare because you have to smog your car all the time.
Yeah, and there's all these rules about like battery freaking disposal and stuff. I don't know. That
Wow,
could be
it was tough. You know, like it's one of those things you can't just pour your antifreeze in your garden anymore. You have to like make it a.
Gosh.
Just you know what I'm saying?
Shoot.
Anyway, just
Can't throw batteries in the ocean
kidding,
anymore.
Just kidding. Anyway, so what's all the?
So there's supposed to be a headline there that says that he is going to visit China.
So is he in China now?
No, he's on the way to Israel or the way back. He's going to stop off in China for one day.
Okay.
And he's doing that to talk about global warming solutions, right?
Okay.
Now, I am not going to do any conjecture whatsoever, but I'm going to put something out there.
Yeah.
What I want to say first is that looking at this from the outside, it looks awfully like he's going to be quite unpopular for even visiting China with no plans of even bringing up anything that should be corrected in terms of bad behavior.
Sure.
At least from the media's perspective so far. Why don't you play the clip?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's China.
I'm sorry. That's China.
Yeah, I like how they just
global leader,
dump
right?
that stuff in the river.
China's the global leader of green technology.
Yeah.
And they're really doing their best. The Chinese government efforts to clean up all of the pollution, and then number two, also reduce the carbon output because they're doing the most out of the whole world, right?
Yeah, but the most damage to the earth.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry, I screwed that up. Anyway, California Governor Newsom heads to China for climate-focused meetings. Oh, crap. Sorry, I got interrupted again.
What's that?
I'll just read it since it came up. I'll just read it.
Sure.
It says, China, the world's biggest emitter of carbon dioxide, produces 12.7 billion metric tons of emissions annually. That dwarfs U.S. emissions, currently at about 5.9 billion tons annually. So more than double the carbon emissions of the U.S., by the way, which are going down.
Yeah, the U.S. ones are.
I think China, the carbon emissions are actually going up.
Yeah, they've greenlit a whole bunch of new coal power plants.
But you know what the good news is?
What?
Gavin Newsom's actually going to China to discuss these things because China is actually the global leader in green technology and is at the forefront of carbon and global warming.
Well, can you explain to me why there's this red river in China here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we got interrupted again.
Okay, yeah.
I'll just read it though.
Okay, sure.
China's water supply has been contaminated by the dumping of toxic human and industrial waste. Pollution-induced algae blooms cause the surface of China's lakes to turn bright green, sometimes red.
Well, this is obviously like a chemical off.
It can be chemical as well. But greater problems may lurk beneath the surface. Groundwater is in 90% of China's cities is contaminated to the point where 90% of fresh water in China is unusable.
90%.
When I say unusable,
Imagine
you might
that.
think, oh,
Jesus.
well, you'll have to boil it. No. The 10% that is usable is the stuff that you boil.
Yeah.
China has absolutely destroyed its water supply. But anyway.
But that's okay.
He's going.
Newsom dude's going to China, to maybe pick up some tips on green technology?
Well,
because
here's
China's
the deal.
a leader?
If I see any evidence of Newsom coming back and doing press releases about how China is actually progressing in the front of green technology, I'm gonna have a conniption.
Yeah, me too.
my head will explode.
Yeah.
I will die. I will die of disappointment.
Well, you know what's going to happen if he goes there? They're going to take him to like a wind farm or one of those massive big solar farms and say, look, we make lots of this, therefore we're good at it. You know what I mean?
think so?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Let's see here.
Oh, what? Oh, you've been interrupted
I'm
again.
sorry, I just
What
got
is this?
interrupted. It says, it actually says here, it says air pollution is responsible for about 2 million deaths in China per year. Of those deaths, it says 2 million, by the way.
That's a lot.
Of those deaths, ambient air pollution alone caused more than 1 million deaths. Just ambient air pollution.
So, yeah, it's just you walking around breathing your air in your city.
Yes.
Okay.
Where are we
else?
here?
This, you said ambient air. Okay. While household air pollution from cooking with polluting fuels and technologies caused another 1 million deaths in the same period in China.
Yes. So it says that the amount of deaths that were coming from China were 2 million just from the air pollution. Yeah. So let's see the next thing.
Okay. Well,
Skip back
apparently
to it.
that's
It says,
okay.
Oh, it says California Gavin Newsom to make one-day visit to Israel en route to China.
No, so he's only going to Israel for one day. He's probably going to China for a long time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I wonder which one's safer to visit right now, to be honest.
I don't know. Let's have a look.
Anyway, let's see what's next.
China's CO2 emissions increased an estimate of 10% year on year in the second quarter of 2023, rebounding approximately 1% above the record levels of 2021.
I'm getting faster with the
So they actually
skill set.
increased compared
Not
to
gonna lie.
the rest of the world.
You know, this is what really pisses me off because all you ever see in the mainstream media out
play
there and in
Apex.
all these
Should I play
blogs and
Apex? Just
everything is
one game.
how great China is such a leader in green technology.
Yeah.
But the actual facts don't bear that out.
No.
The actual facts are, guess what? It has increased more than its record levels from before. And people are like, but they're doing like, look at these solar farms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing people don't realize is that to produce those solar panels generates a lot of pollution.
Right.
And then a lot of those solar panels are ineffective, not even hooked up. It's just for face.
Right.
You know, it's the land of shortcuts and facades. And so, yeah, a lot of what they're doing with those EVs as well, dumping the EVs, you know, and all the technology to produce those EVs, really damaging the
7,000
environment. It's not
plus.
helping the environment.
It's not.
9K.
But what I do want to say
Yeah.
is
17.
that I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Could
Sure.
be fine. Could
Yeah.
be fine. Maybe it's just to say like, in our great country of America, we figured out what to do, and like
You know what I hope for all Californians out there, because the one thing that really annoyed me about living in California was having to smog my 1978 Trans Am. Is that Newsom goes to China, sees he's going to see all the fluff stuff, but I hope he gets a peek, like when he's not on the official guided tour, and he's like, you know what, China's really emitting a lot of shit. Maybe we can go back and say, you know what, maybe it's okay to pollute a little bit.
And Corona. Hey cronies, are your lives dark and painful and cronies' favorite manga/webtoons? There are only 18 days before pre-order closes for Cronies Blanket Cave, so you can be hollow and pretend Crony is hugging you when alone. That's right. It'll be like a back hug. Except it's not. But you can pretend like it is. Wow! That'll never happen, but still.
She has a very smooth voice. You know what? Every VTuber has a very smooth voice. I think why. Sheesh. Airsoft M249. What? That look good.
Today we're taking an up-close look at the iPhone 15, and I mean up close. Enhance. Check out the dynamic island. At this magnification, we can see the individual LEDs that make up the pixels. It's truly marvelous. In case you missed it, we already did a teardown of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, complete with a detailed blog post analysis, repairability score, X-rays, and fancy pants wallpapers. Go check that out if you haven't already. We had a couple of partners on this teardown. Thanks to Evidence Scientific, we had a microscope in the office this year, and all our zoomed in shots came from the DSX 1000 they kindly allowed us to borrow. And as always, our friends at Creative Electron provided us with a preview of the innards of the iPhone 15 through the magic of X-ray vision. Not much looks different, but we won't know until we get started. Let's dive in and take a closer look. First up, let's remove those pencil lobe screws. Enhance. That's one out and oh god, what is that on the screw? Unenhance! Unenhance! Maybe I don't want to use the microscope anymore. Alright, let's get Clampy set up and open up that back cover so we can take a closer look at that adhesive. Stretch and cut through with a pick. With the back off, we're going to remove the battery cable bracket and disconnect the battery. Let's remove the wireless charge coil assembly cover and press connector 2.
That's pretty bad money though. Wait, so how much was that? 349, 350, 353 plus 20, 160. Almost 500 M with the crystallized despair. Almost the same as Orcs, I would say. Is it almost the same? I think I read. Oh shit! No! No! Oh no! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh no! No! Fuck! Oh, there it is. $300M. So 300M ay apa? $300M plus 160 is 500. Actually, it's 180. Holy shit. How much per MM products? 1 billion. Oh my god, that's a lot of money. I think I need to sell it now because I need the light stone. Even though I don't have enough, it's only 1 billion though. I could sell it. I could sell this one. Greffo. Durability resistance. Probably need that. I think I need that. Think. Should I use it or sell it? What the hell's going on? Tang ina mong bertong bad trip pakala. The fuck, bro? Oh, it's getting cold. Papasko na naman. Girin's fragment. So next 3 days I could now. It's Friday, right? Today. How much is the blade again? I think the death blow. I need death blow. 2.4 billion. 2.5. 2.6 actually. Sheesh. That is some expensive ass shit. How much money do I have?
The inside of the Vanilla 15 doesn't look all that different to the insides of the Vanilla 14. We still access most of the internals from the back, and we still have the placeholder on the American version where the SIM tray would be found in the international versions. Let's take a closer look at the battery press connector. The two larger pins are gold-plated copper contacts, right side being ground and left side supplying power. The two tiny pins in the top right and bottom left are probably data pins used by the battery management system. The Taptic engine is next, easily accessible with only a couple of screws and a press connector holding it down. We couldn't help ourselves, we had to delid the Taptic engine and take a closer look. The electromagnet in the middle flips polarity, driving the magnet in the center of the Taptic engine itself back and forth. The Taptic engine is followed by a few more screws holding the lower speaker down. Rumor has it that this microphone is now repairable in store. This repair is only being
Potentially pala, makakakuha ko na at least 800M doon. Kung may distortion drop. So far, malas ko sa drop eh. Ilang beses na ako nag-grind doon. Ish. I'm only getting 500M. Can I? You know what? I'm gonna test on Hex with 290 AP, but I don't know if I'm gonna be efficient per se. I might die there. I might. Hopefully not.
Offered on the Vanilla 15 and
What the
15
hex?
Plus, but we hope that all iPhones will get the same treatment next year. Let's get that battery out next. There's 2 pull tabs tucked away at the top edge of the battery, and they're not easy to get to. Removing the camera assembly won't help because of the metal bracket sitting between the camera and the battery. Let's zoom in and watch those adhesive strips come out. The first pull tab snapped, but the second one is good to go. It goes on, and on, and on. With the battery out, we can see it's a 13.132 watt-hour lithium polymer pouch, and it has a new message for us this year. Warning, trained technician serviceable.
There's no MagSafe for the iPhone 15.
Only. Let's move on to the upper assembly. There's a few brackets and press connectors that need to be undone before we can remove the front-facing camera and one of the millimeter wave antennas. The main camera is up next. That's another few screws and a couple of press connectors. Let's zoom in on the optical image stabilization and check out the sensor stabilizers. The electromagnets on the side of the sensor, not visible here, are working overtime to keep everything as stable as possible to filter out any vibrations or shaking
so
while you're
cool.
grabbing that perfect shot. Flipping it over reveals the 48 megapixel image sensor itself. Enhance. At 1640x magnification, we can see the quad pixel or photosite clusters that turn visible light into electrical signals that are processed and converted into an image. Another interesting tidbit, even though the Vanilla 15 and 15 Pro Max each have a 48 megapixel main camera, the quad pixel buckets in the Vanilla 15 are around 22% smaller, meaning it doesn't perform as well in low light conditions. Zooming back out, we need to remove that upper speaker assembly and all the screws, standoffs, and cables holding the logic board down. Flipping the logic board over reveals 2 more brackets covering 2 cables. You'd normally remove—
I might die here. And I don't want that to happen. I'm just gonna test if I'm gonna be able to take... If I could actually grind here with woosa. Hopefully it's not purple. It's gotta be red, right? It's red. If it's red, I can probably grind here. Easy. I think I'm gonna need some accuracy for this though. Like a lot of accuracy. Okay, purple. Oh, shibal. I might die here. I might, but we'll test it out. Hang on. Okay, let's see. What do I have? Oh shit. Being attacked. Dealing damage, but it's not exactly much. I gotta say it's much stronger than my Megu. It's not very efficient, I would say. Taking too long to kill these guys. I think I'm gonna need some more accuracy then. So how much accuracy do I have here? Doko. Okay. Not it. 73 accuracy. Decimation. Do I have Macalods here? Shit. How about home? Not enough. I need Macalod. Only have home. Shit. Accuracy. It's gonna be plus 4 for sheesh. AP critical damage. Ugh. Lucas. Humans ne. I need a garment heart. You know what? Fine, I'll try this one. I have 74 accuracy with this. Let's see. It's gonna be a ballsy ass move for me to do. Going hex. Yeah, it's not very. I might die here. Jesus Christ, this. Ow! Oh no. I might die. Okay, I gotta. No, not really efficient though. I need more AP. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go back to work, so guys. Giants. I don't think I can deal enough damage for these guys.
Move those by removing the screen, but they're accessible from the back too. That's definitely a plus for repairable design. New to the entire iPhone 15 line is the USB-C port.
No damage.
With 2 screws on one side, a standoff and screw on the other, and 2 more screws holding the USB-C port to the chassis. This thing is a bit fiddly to get out, but a sight easier than removing the ports on any of the Pro models. With that, our teardown is complete. We're still as impressed as we were last year that Apple pulled off the dual entry design on these phones. It's a great win for repairability. Add to that the ever-increasing number of modular components, and on paper, it seems that these phones are more repairable. Unfortunately, parts pairing remains a problem on all Apple devices, acting as an artificial barrier against independent repair. We recently had to rescore the iPhone 14 from a 7 down to a 4 out of 10 as we incorporated parts pairing into our revamped scoring rubric. And so, with the expectation that parts and manuals will be released in the near future, we've given the iPhone 15 a provisional score of 4 out of 10. While the modular design is a definite repairability win, parts pairing remains a huge obstacle, just as we saw in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. We're continuing our parts pairing tests on the Vanilla 15, and you'll find the results of those tests over on our blog.
Yes, no damage at all. Shit. Yeah, I'm gonna need more accuracy. Actually, no, more AP. I need like 350, 303 or something. I don't know. If I pen a black star, I might be able to grind here now, even with low AP, low DP. 394. God damn it! So many souls. Ah, no. Need more damage, dude. I'm struck my glass. Shit, come on. No damage. Jeez. Oh no. Oh, almost died. Ah. Soul harvested goes berserk in draw specters. Okay. Why am I still here? Okay, this place is fun. I just don't have the deep. I just don't have the AP for this one. Ow, 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 boo boos, boo boos. Sheesh, there's a lot of mobs. Ah! Oh. Rage Inspector has appeared. Okay, I'm way too slow for this one. I don't think I can grind here. Like, so slow. So what do I need here? More accuracy, huh? Seems like more accuracy what I need. Ah, no. If I try using Mago here, I'm gonna die. I would say woosa is much more protected in terms of grinding here. And the damage. Oh shit, pal. That is a lot of damage. Ow! Gonna need a lot of shit here. So slow. Yeah. Oh. Juk. Oh, I killed one. What the fuck are you now? Ah. The hell is this? $350 TL times 2. 700 in just what? 10 minutes? These guys taking forever to kill. I don't like this. Yeah, I prefer giants though. For now, I guess. Yeah, we're out. I got stuck, am I? Okay, I'm going off. I'm tired now. I got work tomorrow. Do I have church buff? No, I don't. So I'm gonna go here and then I'm gonna park my character on giants as soon as I wake up.